thought you said you knew where the British Embassy was.
I do. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, that's what you said 3 laps ago.
Just look at the map.
Don't do it. It's not worth the humility.
Real men don't need maps.
Oh, give it to me. I don't have the male map phobia gene.
Hang on.
What?
Right here.
Hey! Let it go! What's your problem, pal? This doesn't concern you. It does. Listen.
Check her. You all right?
She's unconscious.
Call 911.
Well, this is definitely not your lucky day. You just beat up a woman in front of 3 FBI agents.
Get off of me, man.
Hey,
Name's Mutumbo Kintu. I'm a Sudanese diplomat.
She hit her head
I
hard.
have identification inside my breast pocket. Ma'am. Uncuff me now.
Looks legit.
You've made a very big mistake. I want your name, Agent.
Manning. It's Bobby Manning. Remember it next time you get the urge to bash up a woman, mate. I might be right round the corner.
Agent Manning, you'll regret this day.
What just happened?
He's got diplomatic immunity. Gotta just love it, don't you?
I just got a call from the State Department. A diplomat from the Sudan called them and said he was attacked by an FBI agent.
That bug was bashing up a woman, and I stopped him.
You know you can't go around hitting diplomats, not for any reason. This guy is claiming you perpetrated an act of war against his country. You broke international law.
You think what I did was wrong?
It doesn't matter what I think. The man has diplomatic immunity.
And that puts him above the law?
Sadly, the answer to that is yes. Sometimes it does. And you've just put your whole career at risk. OPR wants an internal review.
I can't believe this. They're going to investigate Bobby?
This is ridiculous, Ted, and you know it.
Fine. It's ridiculous. But you've got to try to smooth things over. State wants you to apologize to Mutumbo Kintu.
The guy beats up a woman, puts her in the hospital, and I have to beg his forgiveness. Not likely.
You don't have a choice. If he files formal diplomatic charges, you will be suspended. If he proves his case, you'll be kicked out of the FBI.
If I live to be 100 and never see the 7 wonders, that'll be alright. Should my tender heart be broken, I will cry those teardrops knowing I will be just fine. 'Cause nothing changes who I am. I am Rosemary's granddaughter, the spitting image of my father. And when the day is done, my mama's still my biggest fan. Sometimes I'm clueless and I'm clumsy, but I got friends that love me, and they know just where I stand. It's all a part of me, and that's who I am. That's who I am.
How can they charge Bobby for doing the right thing?
The Diplomatic Relations Act of 1978.
Yeah, brilliant little proclamation that doesn't allow us to enforce the law in our own country anymore. What was that for?
I heard you took him out with one punch. That wild Aussie uppercut.
I heard it was a right-left combo.
Well, actually, it was a right hook.
Ah.
But who's keeping track?
Yeah.
How about you, old man? Hey, come on. Yeah, you would have planted the old 1-2 on that drongo, wouldn't you? Yes, you would.
Now, if this idiot decides to go through with his threat to play hardball, we need to know what we're dealing with.
Mutumbo Kintu has been here as a diplomat from Sudan for the past 2 years. So far, we know he's got a reputation for flashing his diplomatic badge around Washington, whether it's to get himself into nightclubs or out of trouble.
He sort of uses it like a free hall pass in high school. We're still checking to see if maybe he has any interesting skeletons in his closet that might come in handy, should we need such information.
What do we have on the woman Mutumbo attacked?
Virtually nothing. She's a Jane Doe. She's in critical condition at DC Civic Medical.
Okay, Sue, go to the hospital, see how she is, find out anything you can about her and her connection to Mutumbo. Miles will go with you.
Take the Cogent mobile bio, get her prints. If we get lucky, maybe she'll show up in the database somewhere.
Oh, can you trace who called 911? They were there before I could dial. Somebody saw what happened.
The State Department has requested that Bobby make a formal apology to Mutumbo.
You gotta be kidding.
That's what I said.
Garrett wants you and I to go with him.
For some reason, he doesn't trust me to meet with Mutumbo on my own.
You need to do this, all right? Maybe we can defuse this thing before it becomes a real problem. Mr. Kintu.
You have something to say to me?
Three-ball side pocket. Bank the 7. And the 8-ball back here for the winner.
So you think you know how the game's gonna play out?
Well, let's just say I know how it should play out.
Your State Department said that you wanted to beg my forgiveness and to apologize. Go ahead. Start begging.
The truth is, I'm not sure who owes who the apology.
Keep your eye on the ball.
I'm sure we both regret our actions, and I think that we can agree that I shouldn't have punched you, and that you shouldn't have treated that woman the way you did.
You mean the woman who tripped? The one I tried to catch, but unfortunately couldn't, before she fell to the ground. Because you attacked me, completely unprovoked.
So that's your story, is it?
It's the true story I'm telling the world. Your face will be the new symbol of all that is wrong with arrogant American law enforcement. You challenged me and lost. Game's over.
Wrong, mate. Game's just beginning.
She's still unconscious. She has a severe concussion. MRI and CAT scan show bruising on the brain. The next 24 hours are critical.
Our initial records said she didn't have any ID. She wasn't carrying anything?
That's right. But when we were changing her into her hospital gown, we found the strangest thing. $2,000 in a hotel key stuffed in her bra.
We'd like to collect that for our investigation. The money in the key, not the bra.
I figured that.
Has the fingerprinting been cleared with the hospital administrator?
Yes. It's pretty high tech.
Oh, it's an interim distributed image system.
It allows us to digitally scan fingerprints and match them against the FBI's database. Oh my gosh.
Those aren't superficial. Whoever she is, at some point she was serious about ending her life.
Can you write on her chart that I'm to be called as soon as she wakes up?
Of course.
Hey, Kevin. Manning here, how you going? Oh, you've heard, have you? What, me worry? No way. As a matter of fact, I'm kicking back on a Tahitian beach with a nice tall one and a beautiful native girl.
A native woman to you.
Hang on, mate. Sorry, just be a second. Hey, Kevin, you still got a connection over at CIA? Yeah. Okay, do you reckon you can see if they've got anything on this Mutumbo? Oh, good on you, mate. I owe you. Okay, cheers, Kevin. Miss D'Angelo, my favourite journalist. Imagine running into you here.
Funny how that works, Special Agent Manning. Especially since you invited me here.
Yes, well, there is that. But I prefer to think it was because you missed my dazzling smile.
Actually, I couldn't pass up the chance to see the FBI's new human highlight reel in the flesh.
I see my newfound fame precedes me.
Let's just say you've got the news wires buzzing.
Which reminds me, what would you say if I asked you to do me a little favour?
I'd say I'm already ahead of you, as always. I have a reporter friend with contacts in the Sudan. He's already digging around to see what he can find on Mutumbo. Is that the kind of favor you were looking for?
Well, I suppose it'll have to do.
You know what I like about you, Special Agent Manning? Never a dull moment.
Woohoo!
Jane Doe isn't living a life of luxury.
It's only a couple changes of clothes. She lives here alone.
Hey, Jack.
What do you got?
A newsletter from the Sudanese embassy. Look what's circled.
Mutombo's photo. Not bad. I would have blacked out a couple of teeth and given him a mustache myself.
What do you think this means?
Dunbar Point.
Dunbar Point is a shipping terminal at the port of Baltimore.
And what we need to figure out is how does that relate to Mutumbo?
Or if it does.
This just in, thanks to a fingerprinting match with INS's database, Jane Doe now has a name. Indri Raga.
Can you say that again?
Indri Raga.
Indri Waka?
Raga.
Indri Raga. Why didn't you say that in the first place?
She's a Sudanese national who claimed political asylum last year. INS fingerprinted her and set a judicial hearing date to hear her case 3 weeks later. She failed to appear. Until now, she hasn't been seen since.
All right, check with CIA, Customs, maybe State's got something on her.
I managed to trace the 911 caller through dispatch.
And who's a good Samaritan?
Goretti Dulé.
I'm pretty sure you didn't say Robert Goulet, but that's as close as I can get. Can you write that one down for me?
And you said her name like it's supposed to mean something.
Maybe not to you, but it does to Mutombo. She's his secretary.
Well, now that's an interesting development.
What else do you know about her?
She's a Sudanese national, and she's been in America at the embassy for 6 months.
Can we check to see if there's any connection between her and the victim?
Okay.
Great.
Bobby, I need to see you. Jack and Sue? State Department just got this from the Sudanese embassy.
Where's the rest of it?
That's not the way it happened.
That might be, but this is what we have to answer to. Mutombo's made it official. He wants you charged under the Protection of Foreign Officials Act.
Righto, so you're saying this is starting to spin out of control?
No, not about to. Already has. The State Department told me that they're not going to intervene on your behalf. They're backing Mutombo.
For them to come back with that decision so quickly has to mean that there's something else going on behind the scenes that we don't know about.
I've got contacts trying to figure that out. But that doesn't help us today. I'm sorry, Bobby.
Miss Dulé,
Yes?
we're with the FBI. We'd like to talk to you.
What about?
Do you know a woman named Indri Raga? She's a Sudanese national.
No.
But you did make a 911 call yesterday.
I'm sorry.
I don't know anything about any phone call. Please go.
Ms. Dule, we know you made that call. And we know you made it from the embassy.
You should know. You might just have saved that woman's life.
How is she?
She's in a coma, but she's alive. Miss Dule, we'd like you to tell us what you saw.
I saw it all.
Will you testify to that?
I can't.
If you're worried about Mutumbo, we can protect you from him.
And how would you do that? I have more than just myself to consider. You must know he has diplomatic immunity. No one can touch him.
With your testimony, we might be able to change that.
He almost killed a woman yesterday. I won't risk my daughter's future to save your friend. I'm sorry. You'll have to find another way.
Sorry I'm late. Got stuck in traffic.
Bobby is the only person I know who gets suspended just to have a shorter commute.
Just trying to help the ecology.
Hey, who's putting half-eaten donuts back in the box?
That isn't half-eaten. I ate the other half, which made that half completely eaten. That half isn't eaten at all, making it wholly uneaten.
Customs ran all the electronic shipping manifests for the last 2 years. Mutumbo's name didn't even come up. So far, no connection between him and Dunbar Point.
What about the 911 call?
She can verify Bobby's story, but says she won't. Hey!
I didn't see what you said. Turn around, please.
I said Goretti didn't tell us anything.
Thank you.
Manning. Hey. Yep. Be right there. Righto, gotta go. Last one out feeds the cat.
A cat? I didn't know you had a cat.
It doesn't.
I'm guessing it's an Aussie figure of speech for last one out. Turn off the lights, lock the door.
Oh. Well, he's in America. Tell him to speak English.
My contact in the Sudan says Mutumbo pretty much bought his way into position over here. Turns out he's not much more than a snotty-nosed brat who lives off his family's money.
Might explain his sunny disposition. All play and no work can turn the best Sudanese trust fund baby into a real jerk.
So I've heard. Back home, he has the distinction of being crooked as well as despised.
I'm shocked. So what kind of family business are we talking about?
Shipping.
Hang on. How sure are you your sources?
Very. Why?
Well, because we've already checked Mutumbo's name up against all the shipping manifests.
Let me guess. You came up empty.
You're pretty savvy for a beautiful native girl.
Just because you're out of a job does not mean that I can't slap that adorable little smirk off your face, Special Agent Manning.
Did I hear you just say adorable?
Can we get back on track? You seem to have forgotten your career is in shambles.
Yeah, well, being depressed about it isn't going to help anything.
Since I doubt Mutumbo has abandoned the family business, it's possible he's shipping under an alias.
If you were a diplomat and you were shipping something you wanted kept quiet, how would you do it?
I have a feeling you're about to tell me.
You'd use a diplomatic pouch. International law prohibits US customs from investigating them.
Right.
Jack, it's me. Yeah, got a little job for the FBI.
We've had all kinds through this office, but an FBI canine's the first. Glad to see the country's in safe hands.
How would a person track something a foreign diplomat was shipping into America?
Well, it's all in the customs database. What did you want to check?
Shipment coming from the Sudan.
We're looking for any kind of patterns or procedural irregularities.
Well, looks like we've got diplomatic shipments coming from the Sudan, on average, a couple every 4 months or so.
The name Mutumbo, Kintu, doesn't happen to pop up anywhere, does it?
Not that I can see, but once it's labeled diplomatic cargo, nobody has to put their name on anything.
How convenient.
What happens when the cargo gets here?
Somebody signs for it and it gets transported to its final destination. Could be anywhere in the U.S.
Do your records say who signed for the Sudanese cargo?
A guy by the name of Jeffrey Clarkson, president of Alliance Freight Forwarding, which is kind of odd. American companies don't normally sign for diplomatic cargo.
When was the last shipment?
Clarkson signed the bill of lading 3 days ago.
Has the cargo been picked up or sent out?
It went to Alliance Freight's warehouse number 7, but I got no idea whether it's still there or not.
Can we take a look?
No. It's a restricted area. We're not allowed in, not even you guys.
Can we have the ID number on the shipment?
I don't know what good it's going to do you, but sure.
Too bad we can't get in to see that diplomatic pouch.
Yeah.
You look thinner in all black.
You sure you're still up for this, mate?
It's my idea. How could I back out now?
Given any thought to what career you'll be taking up if we should get caught?
I was kind of going with the idea that we wouldn't get caught.
Yeah, okay. Go with that. You know, I appreciate this.
Yeah, I know.
That you?
Yep.
Pretty snazzy. You get it just for this?
Nothing but the best for you, buddy.
So, once you and your new lockpick there hopefully get this door open, any bets on what we find?
Well, from the Sudan, I'm thinking cocaine, maybe heroin. What about you?
Nah, Mutumbo strikes me as an illegal weapon sort of bloke. Did you read the directions?
Just give me a minute. I'm almost got it.
I'm only giving you 5 minutes, mate. Out of the way. Substance over style, Sparky.
The numbers match up.
Oh, one thing we know, it's bigger than a bread box.
Obviously they were chaining something up against the wall.
Exotic animals, maybe?
Yeah, I suppose it's possible. Jack.
Shackles.
Looks like a bit of a sleeve or something. It's got blood all over it.
I don't reckon it's animals they're shipping, mate.
People. Slaves.
A present for me? It's not even my birthday.
Turns out Mutumbo's diplomatic pouch is big enough to hold dozens of Sudanese slaves. These are the DNA reports. I ran them through an independent lab, And they confirm that Mutumbo's secret cargo is of the human variety.
How sick does a person's heart have to be to do something like this?
It's a level of darkness I don't even want to be able to wrap my head around.
Maybe it's time Mutumbo's dirty little secret turned into front-page news.
There's one problem. We still can't connect Mutumbo directly to the containers. Or to slavery, for that matter.
There's plenty here for a story. If you want, we can send Mutumbo a nice little message.
No, look, you put that in the paper now, he's liable to come after you.
You're not the only one with a nasty right hook.
Hey, I'm serious.
If I can't expose someone like Mutumbo, then it's time to get out. And I like my job way too much to do that. Thanks for the present.
Righto, one other thing, though. Before you use that to write your story, I need you to do one other thing for me.
Look who I found.
Darcy D'Angelo. To what do we owe the pleasure?
I have something that I think you'll find interesting and hopefully helpful. What is it?
Looks like the inside of a railroad car.
My source tells me it's a Sudanese diplomatic shipping container. I believe it has something to do with the case you're working on. The container was used to ship slaves. You'll find forensic evidence in the second envelope.
Who's your source?
He chooses to remain anonymous. Just so you know, this will be in tomorrow's paper. Call me if you need me. I'm sure you all have work to do.
Maybe this is the chink in Mutumbo's armor that we've been looking for.
Well, yeah. Slave runner never looked good on anyone's resume.
Just because we got photos and DNA doesn't get us a link to Mutumbo.
Maybe Jeffrey Clarkson can provide us with the link. He handles all the cargo that Mutumbo ships into the country from the Sudan.
The hospital just called. Indri Braga's just regained consciousness.
Hi, Andre. My name is Sue. This is Jack. We're with the FBI. We would like to talk to you.
Why do you want to talk to me?
Because of what happened to you. Do you remember?
I remember being thrown to the ground.
Do you remember who did it?
Indri, the FBI is on your side. We want to help you.
Did you arrest Mutumbo?
Not yet.
Indri, what were you doing with Mutumbo? We can't help you if you don't tell us.
I grew up in a small village in Sudan. One night, men with guns came. They shot my mother and my father. They took me and my sister. They beat us. When we woke up, it was cold and very dark. There were people all around us. Babies were crying, women moaning. We didn't know where we were.
Indri, how did you get free?
Mutumbo sold me to a very rich man, an Iranian family, to be a servant. I was not allowed to leave the house. There was only one way I could think of to get out. That they would let me out.
Indri, when you confronted Mutumbo, you had $2,000 hidden on you. Why?
My little sister, Kalawi. I was trying to buy her back from Mutumbo.
We will find your sister. If Indri would testify that Mutumbo bought and sold her as a slave, we've got him?
Not exactly. It's her word against his. She has no physical proof. We need hard evidence linking Mutumbo and Clarkson to the shipments.
Mutombo's secretary would know his meeting schedule. If Mutombo and Clarkson ever met at the embassy, she might have it in a log.
Mr. Lake,
I'm late picking up my daughter. I told you I can't talk to
we
you.
have no information.
We believe Mutombo's involved in slave trading.
If you know anything, we need you to help.
You know this for a fact.
The woman that he hurt, the woman you helped, was trying to buy her sister back out of slavery from him. Have you ever seen Mutombo with this man?
Yes. Mr. Clarkson. He's been to the embassy many times.
He's been to the embassy.
Can you help us prove that?
We need sign-in sheets, appointment books, correspondence, anything you can find.
I'll try.
Excuse me. This area is off limits.
FBI? I'd like to take a look in that container.
Sorry, Chief. It's restricted. That's the property of the Sovereign Republic of Sudan. Nobody touches it.
We don't have to touch it. Just want to see what's in it.
Well, they don't tell me that kind of stuff. I just have a contract to keep it in my warehouse till the embassy says otherwise.
Mr. Clarkson, can I call you Jeff?
How'd you know my name?
Jeff, you see, we have a problem. Let's say two guys are doing something illegal.
But we can only prosecute one of those guys, for whatever reason. Let's just say because he's got diplomatic immunity.
So we then have to dump everything onto the other guy.
And let's just say, for illustrative purposes, that the guy is you.
I'm just a shipping agent. I don't know anything.
I don't believe you.
Jeff, we just want you to understand, anyone interfering with this investigation or obstructing it in any way will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
If I hear of anybody who can help, I'll pass it on.
Good. You tell them that timing is everything. So you call us. Don't make us call you.
Yeah, sorry, fellas, I'm not looking to carpool today.
This wasn't a very good idea.
Really? I thought it was a very good picture of you.
This reporter, Darcy D'Angelo. She's a friend of yours?
Never heard of her.
Then you won't care that she's been silenced.
If anything happens to her, I will make it 1,000 times worse for you.
You can't touch me.
Yeah, get me Darcy D'Angelo, please. Well, where is she?
I told them that this is the wrong shade of orange for my skin tone. I'm a summer, but they didn't listen.
You okay?
So far, I've made a few new friends and gone to a couple of parties. All in all, I feel like I'm fitting right in.
What happened?
The State Department got a little uppity. Something about me messing with diplomatic relations.
I've noticed they can get kind of prickly about that sort of thing.
Well, that was nothing compared to the part where I told them that I wouldn't give up my source. I didn't see the humor in that.
Well, I'm not gonna let you sit in jail for me.
Don't get a big head, Special Agent Manning. Sit down. I'm not doing this for you.
All righto. So this is all for the cause of justice.
And don't forget the American way.
Where's the kid or I die?
It's either that or cry.
I'm getting you out of here.
Bobby, no.
You know me, never a dull moment.
You're not supposed to be here.
I need to speak to Garrett.
What are you doing?
I'm going to tell Garrett that I'm Darcy's source.
Bobby, we are so close to getting Mutumbo.
Can't leave her in jail, mate.
Then I have no choice but to tell them that I was with you. I can't let you take all the heat.
Nah, Jake, you can't do that. I need you to keep working the case. Someone's got to get Mutumbo. The guy may be going down, but I'd like you to make sure I don't go down alone.
You really shouldn't be here, Bobby.
What would you say if I told you that I was Darcy D'Angelo's confidential source?
I'd say I wouldn't be able to protect you if you went on record with that. I hope you know this will cost you your career.
Wish I had another choice. But I don't.
You may not disclose any FBI procedures, protocol, or technology. You are not to discuss your cases here with anyone. You are prohibited to enter any FBI facility. You may not officially meet with any FBI personnel or any of your informants. You can no longer identify yourself as an agent of the FBI.
Thank you.
Let's go.
Where are we going?
State Department. Customs just called and said that diplomatic shipment from the Sudan is coming in tonight. Say I suspected a sitting foreign diplomat of criminal activity. How much evidence would I have to prosecute?
Depends on the crimes and the diplomat. If you're talking about Mutumbo, you're going to need a lot. This thing has too many international repercussions.
Come on, Claire. The State Department has been stonewalling us on this from the beginning. What's really going on here?
Off the record. Al-Qaeda used Sudan as a base of operations from 1991 to 1996. Now they want back in, and they're offering hundreds of millions in gold for the privilege. Obviously, we want to keep them out.
Wouldn't want to ruffle any Sudanese feathers.
Even if it means you're protecting a slave trader?
You don't have Mutumbo with the smoking gun. And until you do, you have nothing.
Customs says that a diplomatic shipment is coming in tonight. We want to be the welcoming committee.
If the welcoming committee just happens to open a container and find slaves, I'll use the full power of my office to expel Mutumbo. But if that welcoming committee is wrong, everybody in it will be fired, along with facing criminal charges. So how important is this to you?
No. It's a diplomatic shipment with diplomatic protection. International law prohibits anyone from examining the cargo. I'm the authorized agent for the Republic of Sudan, and nobody opens it.
Is the FBI willing to take full responsibility for the search?
Well, we didn't come here for the ambiance and fine dining. We're opening that container.
Okay, do what you want, but I don't want any part of it.
Oh, you don't mind.
Stick around, Jeff.
This is a private club.
We have special membership cards.
We thought maybe we could resolve our differences with a friendly game of pool.
I'm afraid the game is over for you.
Oh, that statement may be a bit hasty.
Hey, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. Actually, we're kind of hoping you choose the hard way.
Our State Department sent some photos of your extracurricular activities back to the Sudan. Your government was very interested in your creative use of the diplomatic immunity privileges.
And they were concerned that container of slaves we intercepted might not play out too well in the International Court of Public Opinion. Go figure.
I don't know what you are talking about.
Didn't really help your case that Jeff Clarkson and former slave Indra Raga were willing to testify against you either.
And that diplomatic immunity thing that you always hide behind, not gonna help you this time.
No more hall pass.
Well, looks like it's your turn. It's gonna be kind of tough to hold the cue while you're wearing these, though. You're under arrest. Game's over, mate. You want to grab my coat?
We've arrested Mutumbo. He won't be able to hurt you or your family anymore.
And my sister?
We've located her, along with many others.
She's fine. We'll bring her to you as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Well, in case you were wondering if this was all worth it, I think you just got your answer.
Just when I was thinking to myself, you can never find a special agent when you need one, there you are. You are still a special agent, aren't you?
Thanks to you. Got dinner plans?
Sounds like an offer I might not be able to refuse. What did you have in mind?
Oh, I thought we might go over to my place.
Don't tell me you have a hidden talent for cooking.
Well, I've recently had some time off. You know, you can learn a lot from the cooking channel.
Well, I've proven I like to live dangerously, so I'll give it a go.
It's just in case dinner's lousy. Yeah, you know, I thought it might be a good idea to start off with a little taste of dessert.
Oh, hey, welcome home.
Look who's here.
Have some pizza.
We got salad too. Hey, Darcy.
I wasn't expecting company.
You're FBI, mate. You're trained to expect the unexpected.
We just wanted to let you know we're happy to have you back on the team. I hope you don't mind. We didn't know you'd have company.
One question. Who let you in?
Oh, read the directions. Aha!
Hey, I hope we're not intruding anything.
No, but don't fill up on pizza. Bobby's cooking. He's been working on this wonderful recipe for a rock Cornish hen.
Bobby's what?
This is a man who told me he wanted to move the stove out of the kitchen to make room for a pinball machine.
Yeah, I'm growing, mate. Trying new things. Evolving into the man that I always wanted to be.
One who wears an apron, apparently.
That's why you love me. Never a dull moment.
What's that? Never a dull moment. Never boring.
How do you sign barefoot in the kitchen? It's the sign for stop that.